So Wukong being banned alongside Vi, Maokai's been the first pick throughout. Anything you want to respond to your closer?
What do you go for?
Sejuani is available.
Maybe Sejuani. I would pick Viego or Lee here, but I don't think EG will choose that route. I think it's just Sejuani from Inspired.
I'm surprised they slammed the Zeri again after having a pretty rough go of it in the previous game.
But this time they slammed it with Lulu. Maybe they said that, yeah, Zeri without Lulu is not good, but we'll see. I really like this flex from Golden Guardians. I think they can use this flex into Zeri as well. I remember it used to be like a fine matchup into Zeri.
And it's something that I wouldn't have expected. Like the Tristana pick, now it really challenges FBI alongside Jojo. Jojo expected it to be that matchup, but now FBI has to think about like, okay, like Tristana, I probably haven't played it against it in a long time. What picks do I want versus it if it's going bot lane?
Yeah, I mean, Tristana is also a champion that has a lot of kill threat if you're not prepared for it. There are a lot of like combos with supports. Alistar Tristana way back in the day would like destroy Kalista lanes and stuff like that. Yeah. And here, you know, like with the Rel is another old combo that, you know, Huhi with his all those games played could reach into the tank and pull out. So they're gonna go with the flex picks again, man.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
It's the same draft
so
far.
It's interesting though because they are on blue side, so EG should be able to ban out stuff like the Gwen, which was kind of a pivot point in the last draft, and they can save their fifth for a counter pick once they know the entire GG.
Now that they're red side, the flex doesn't matter that much.
Oh my!
They're just gonna instantly.
They're just gonna.
Oh my God! It's just that easy.
KSante can go. Okay, they need to ban Gwen on 4-5 here.
Yeah,
they need to ban Silas or Malphite ult.
100%.
I don't like his Malphite. I don't like it.
This is such a big moment. Like we've been talking about EG all year and how we've been giving them credit for what they accomplished last year. Because if you just hone in on what they've done in the spring split, even in their wins, they weren't looking that solid. Like this is actually the make or break game. I think there's still a chance that they could pull something out in this draft in this game, get a reverse sweep and make a run. But if they lose, the entire split is a failure.
Now, Closer, you're in the position of evil geniuses, and like, look how many junglers are being banned. I'm expecting a little bit more. The Malphite's been locked in. Like, what are you afraid of with the draft that you're in right now? Because you didn't like the Malphite pick this early.
I feel like when you are red side, even though enemy team is flexing stuff, like they will need to show their flex. They cannot hold on to it on blue side. They will need to expose their flex. So I will just pick Sejuani there. I don't think enemy team is gonna ban Malphite. Even if they ban, just pick something other, like some other tank if you want. Now, maybe they will go for Jarvan. Maybe they will go for Viego. He's hovering Kha'Zix.
I mean,
maybe he just wants to go home.
FBI's a bit of a draft.
Yeah, definitely jungle here, and then they're going to need Jojo to be on something with a pretty good chunk of damage.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
What carry jungler can work?
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, it's like the closer said. There you go. And even before show, you were talking about how like Inspired's more of a Sejuani player, even though the meta started shifting to things like Viego and Lissandra that you started playing. You know, he was still preferring the tank jungle.
I mean, he used to play this champion, so I think he can pull it off. They have like a good reset comp already for Viego. Like Malphite is gonna go in and create some space for him to collect some free kills or free souls.
They probably go for something like, looking, Ari's a potential. They've gone big. Oh my God.
What can't Licorice play? Oh my God.
I mean, are they gonna flex the Malphite mid? Like, that is not a good matchup for Malphite.
Yeah,
this is what we were talking earlier, like, can you blind Malphite? We were generally thinking no, like, there's so many things you can play against it.
Yeah, I mean, like, the Gwen wasn't even banned. They were, like, willing to risk that. And Licorice just went even harder on the counter pick angle.
Oh my God!
No.
That's a Maokai support or a Amumu support? It's a Amumu.
That's a Amumu support.
Yes.
Golden Guardians bot lane definitely feeling themselves.
Give me anything.
Like, it feels like just give me anything. I can lane with it. I can win the game with it.
I mean, this is a bit of an ego draft by Golden Guardians. They put, like, there's been a progression. Game 1 was kind of all over the place. They did the Fiora instead of the Scion. Game 2, they pulled off the triple flex. Now they're like, nah, rumble Amumu.
Okay.
Thoughts with the Lissandra now? Who do you think has won the draft? And, you know, just, I'll go to you closer for this.
I like EG's draft more, to be honest. I think they have a very good, solid reset comp for Viego. In this draft, Inspire needs to shine, and Zeri is going to take over mid to late game. But I think this draft is looking a lot for Inspire to make plays and force something. I like EG's draft. I feel like Golden Guardians bot lane, maybe they can find like all-in angles, but Zeri Lulu is just better.
As a jungler, where are you going early game with Viego here?
I'm going towards bot. I think my bot lane will be winning that matchup if I give them vision, and top lane just doesn't matter.
I mean, that's the jungle angle for me. My eyes are on Huhi, man. He took over that last game. We've been hyping him up all day, and now on the Amumu pick, he loves roaming, so I expect to see him pair up with River and try and influence some of these other lanes.
It's been mostly solo queue, you know, like Lorlo is spamming it and, you know, random streamers and stuff, except for the LPL, like OMG plays it a bunch, but that's just because they have Shanji. Besides that, it's mostly solo queue, so I love how confident Licorice is. And honestly, like after the series versus 100 Thieves where they enabled him to start picking carry champions, it is such a glow up from him, because the beginning of the split, if you remember back, Licorice was the Golden Guardian member who was probably getting flamed by the community the most, even when they were having their big run. And for him to be such a huge part of their draft flexibility and from their carry potential now is such a cool story.
And I have been watching Licorice for a long time, Kobe. Back in the amateur days was casting some of his games. So I am beyond thrilled to see him showcasing that flexibility that he has had in the past and really approaching the game with a very mental mindset. In fact, there was a interview he did earlier back in February that was emphasizing the fact that he really prioritized wanting to get his mental ready and making sure he was ready for the stage, and that it wasn't about having these mistakes and really thinking too much about it. He wants to get in the zone, and I feel like he's doing so today.
All right, well, let's see if he's able to abuse that overheat zone versus Ssumday.
Attempts to do so.
Big thing about Rumble is that he's always going to push the lane with Flame Spitter, going for harassment. Licorice, though, goes past the minion wave.
Trying to get that work onto Ssumday. Ssumday marked down to half, but on both sides, popping the pots to keep sustaining into it, and the farm advantage off of that burn.
He's got a ward already, you know, up in the river here to be able to see if someone comes to gank him, because you do play Rumble very aggressively. As you say, he pretty much always pushes. It's really hard to avoid pushing on an AoE champion like that. Whenever you have a matchup like that, that's volatile, that could be abusive, you have to worry about junglers. Inspired's just gonna finish his red and wrap around. So he thinks that there's a ward in Tribrush. River, though, is also attracted to the volatile lane and the pushing Rumble. And they
Asking
find
for assistance here on Inspired, who throws out the Herald Path to retreat effectively.
great tracking and defense here from River, marking the enemy jungle. Maokai versus Viego, you don't want to fight him, you just want to see him and track him for your aggressive lanes. So good little trap here by him, dropping some extra saplings too to make sure that they don't disrupt the Rumble lane phase up on top side and allow Licorice to really get the value out of that counter pick. Plus, since it was just a full red quadrant clear for River, very efficient on the Maokai too. After his warding and sapling duty and tracking enemy jungler, he can just now finish off his blue quadrant.
And I mean, going into this game where there's so much stakes on the table, not as aggressive move from either side, kind of going to the lanes and starting traditionally. Gori marked down low against this range, but River again over on the top side, working his way through Tri. They did have the vision in their favor, and Ssumday's already marked low, but Licorice as well.
All right, so they just want to trap here. Rumble push wave. Maokai saplings try and stop him. The Maokai alone might have a hard time soloing him, but it looks like
Run, going for it onto Ssumday though, and
What?
no mana at the ready. Ssumday stepping into the range. Oh, the flash! That was a close one, Kobe, but trading the summoners to keep Ssumday alive.
super close because Ssumday did such a good job there, holding until the last second. Inspired, though, is wrapping up. Holding until the last second because he knows River's going to try and Q flash on him, and so he flashes just at the right time there to get River's flash, as well as avoiding the Q flash from Maokai. So good job there by Ssumday, not dying. And Inspired's going to be able to tax a little bit. He counter jungles the Maokai. River spent a lot of time up there and didn't finish clearing his blue quadrant. So River is going to be heavily, heavily behind Inspired now, who is able to counter jungle pretty substantially and get double crab on top of that.
And Inspired on the Viego pick, somebody who can really pop off once he gets going.
Yeah, the analyst has touched on it a little bit, talking about Inspired. You know, he's played Viego before. He actually played Viego in LEC when he was LEC MVP on the champion. Massive carry performances with Viego way back before he even came over here. So see if he can have one of those types of performances to keep Evil Genius's hopes in this series alive. Because up until now, Golden Guardians have just been smashing them. River does go over the ward, unbeknownst to Golden Guardians.
So seeing as he's paying even more attention over on this top side, uses the blast cone to
Bring
get
around the Rosie.
River once again, seen by all the warding through. But very different look when a lot of these teams, we discuss the fact that there's that emphasis on bot side. That's where a lot of the attention is being drawn. So many of the junglers spending all their time down there. But here we have a game with Licorice, really enabled on a different pick. And now River giving him due justice.
Yeah, I absolutely love how Golden Guardians are flexing in this series and making a lot of it about smashing in draft and really valuing and respecting counter picks and flex picks. And Licorice and the team are kind of playing around it. Now, at the moment, River is kind of paying for Licorice's ability to exact full aggressiveness out of this counter pick and is getting decently behind, but is just a tanked Maokai. So unless he feeds over an early kill to the Viego, should be able to still operate within team fights.
So neutral territory so far. And when you're thinking about it from the state of the series coming into this, you can see everyone emphasizing how strong Golden Guardians have been. Evil Geniuses slowing things down a tad and making sure that GG can't make any super aggressive plays right off the top is definitely a win for them to get their footing.
Yeah, and Inspired gonna get level 6 on a pretty quick curve, honestly, with the Viego. That control ward up by his Krugs does see him, so they spotted him. They should be able to track him. Little ping down there as well. I think he leaves it for Ssumday to clear. It's like, I got better stuff to do. Golden Guardians will take the opportunity, though. Guess what? They saw your jungler, and they instantly take the dragon.
Secured with the rotation from Stixxay and Huhi into this bot side jungle. You can see the warding from EG's side kind of remaining at the line of scrimmage. So first dragon over to Golden Guardians.
Yeah, like that. Playing off their Krug ward information. And there it is, the early level 6 for Inspired. But dragon acquired for Golden Guardians. They'll put one down in the bank for a little later.
But EG stepping into territory very different from games 1 and 2. Looking at their last series where they 3-0'd, they were entirely on the red side after so many series where it was all blue side wins, or nearly almost all of them. So do you think this reversion to putting Inspired on a pick like Viego and really switching things up in the draft and going over to red side will be enough for them to get that stability in the series?
Yeah, they're gonna have to improve their play also. You know, a lot of focus is on the draft and on side selection so far in this series, but EG have just straight up made some pretty big mistakes with information that was in front of them. So definitely gonna have to clean up that play, and they've got the stuff to do it. You know, putting Inspired on a Viego, a reset champion, when you've got a Malphite ultimate and a Lissandra ult to play off of, those are two very supportive solo lanes.
The equalizer coming down from Licorice, so Ssumday also has to ult out, ult for ult traded on the top side.
Yeah, so much for that tool. Inspired, though, is going to go in, start up this red buff steal.
Oh, there's the lock from Huhi. Tristana going in, knock away, stun onto Inspired, but Inspired, even with the wild growth, still has an ADC on his back. Stixxay throwing out the autos onto Vulcan and Inspired, but FBI has made his way through with the Ultra Shock laser. Stixxay flashing away, ult already utilized, not much escape tools available, and there's first blood for FBI, wanting to continue the onslaught. Polymorph onto Huhi. Inspired gets the credit for the second kill. It's the 2-for-1 trade across so far. River and Licorice on the top side, now isolating Ssumday under the turret. We went from nothing to so much blood across the map, Kobe.
That was so close. Inspired, single digits HP, escaping there from the Golden Guardians bottom lane. Golden Guardians, massive attempt at a defense on their weak side. They sent River top side. They were trying to pull off that dive play from the very beginning, but their bottom lane actually opted to try and defend red and almost pulled it out on the weak side of the map. Look at this. With the Amumu having level 6, they have so much threat on Inspired, so Huhi nails it. He goes in, bandage number 1 into Amumu ultimate with the explosive shot reset. Stixxay jumps in again, and then I want to see the HP on this, because even with heal on the reset here. Inspired tries to ult Stixxay, but he flashes it, and the last auto just barely doesn't kill him. Then Huhi tries to flash forward too, and it ends up being 2 kills for Evil Geniuses, but it is so close there. Yeah, he can smile about that one. Vulcan, very, very happy about those kills on the bottom side. They still got the successful dive on top side for Golden Guardians there and got the kill onto Licorice. So that Rumble definitely will be a problem for Dragon Fight number 2.
And meanwhile, Gori and Jojo going at it in the mid lane. Gori now with a kill for himself and Jojo down a death. It was aggression everywhere for both of these teams, but it means that the gold is still even as we crest over 10 minutes here, Kobe.
All right. Kills for Evil Geniuses where they want them. Again, their bottom side of the map, Inspired plus FBI, are going to be the ones that have to hard carry this game. Those have to be big DPS output because they went with 2 solo laners that are kind of set up solo laners, team fight solo laners. And so very, very nice to get those early, that early kill onto the Zeri plus the assist, the other kill going on to Inspired, the other big carry for them. It is a reset though. They're rotating everybody up to the top half of the map here,
which is important to consider when looking at Ssumday on this Malphite with the ultimate at the ready, because in the previous series had some very effective usage of it in team fights and offsetting any pressure. And Golden Guardians in this game, I'm sure, is what he's looking to do.
Yeah, he definitely wants to shine in the team fights because he got counterpicked and he's not going to shine in lane phase. This Malphite is going to get roasted over and over in lane phase, and so he's hoping, yeah, I'm going to have a big Malphite ultimate. Don't worry. I will give you some value for this pick. Gori here, you can tell by the movement that he's kind of baiting, so Inspired does not take that bait. I like the move because River had full control of the bottom side here with those saplings and with the extra vision. That Rift Herald that they got off of that top side play where they got Rift Herald into the dive is used bottom for the Tristana.
Aw, lock onto Gori. Jojo and Inspired are going for it, but they just want to keep him off of it because dropping that Rift Herald on the bot side is where most attention is drawn by these two. A stun onto FBI and Vulcan, but ultimate activated by FBI. River in the vicinity are looking to do so.
I love the Tristana disengage ability versus Zeri. Now FBI in trouble.
Oh, there's a lock. FBI just surrounded by Golden Guardians, and this is ahead of the Dragon. That's why so much attention was spent down here.
FBI, that was a critical error. River, nice dodge on the Q here from Inspired, trying to harass him, but what a massive, massive error for Evil Geniuses. FBI up here against the wall by River, gets immediately bandage tossed into Maokai, blown up.
Oh, Evil Geniuses. When you lose the carry, that means Golden Guardians bring that gold swinging into their favor, 1.2k, but the Dragon itself now focused by EG. This will tie it up 1-1 on the Dragon scoreboard, but all the while, the solo action along mid continues. Jojo flashing out of the way of Gori, was wanting to go for it again, and all the while, EG securing that Dragon.
Yeah, nice R from Gori there, not allowing Jojo to take the claw. Gets him with the R and forces the flash eventually. So small cooldown victory there for the KSante. Golden Guardians on the reset and rotate upside. Guess what? This Malphite is in trouble.
River's trying to set it up. Ssumday again having to use his ultimate defensively. Multiple members from EG means teleport as well to even out the numbers on the map a bit because of EG pressuring that bot side.
Yeah, I think they're going to rumble ults down on bottom side. They just teleported Licorice here, cleared those minion waves. Yeah, good job there by Licorice. So the other big thing about Rumble, this ultimate is so good because it's a very low cooldown and can annihilate minion waves. So they make the rotation to the top side, but no, he's going to give it all away now. It's Gonzaga.
Oh no, Vulcan and Inspired. Your polymorph Licorice can't escape. Knows he's not long for this world. Keeps him away on that turret for some time, but now they do have that wave to be able to finish it off.
He got the teleported down, he got the minion wave, but then went back in over the wall. Sweeper for EG finds him. Gori trying to fish around for something here, but they don't have a lot with them, so it is going to be EG taking the tower as well as the kill on the Rumble, who also used teleport getting down here. Everybody else should be fine.
Ooh, a sweaty game we got on our hands. A turret for each team, a Dragon for each team. EG looking for another kill to put on the scoreboard. Frozen Tomb onto who he used, and that is a dead Amumu. Sad the whole time through.
Yeah, support Amumu wants friends even more than jungle Amumu wants friends. Going to ward by yourself like that is almost a death wish. You have no escapes, so very, very reckless play from the Golden Guardian support this time around. Huhi gives over kind of a freebie, waddling up on the support Amumu. He doesn't burn his flash or anything because he knows he's dead though, so it is just the kill gold.
I guess Amumu would be the kind of champion to want to make friends with the enemy team, go searching. Let's be friends forever. But didn't have enough existing friends on his side in that regard, but just the gold, as you said. Licorice here with Ssumday once again. Teleport by EG over the wall. Ssumday going for the initiation with the unstoppable, and Licorice still trying to escape. Throws down the equalizer to slow down Jojo, and Ssumday by enough time for Huhi to come through. Stixxay also in the river side. Enough damage to follow up if EG did pursue Licorice. So in the end, GG get him out of there. But now the Rift Herald is what is up for grabs.
Yeah, there's no Rumble ultimate for this, but there's also no Malphite ultimate, which actually looks pretty favorable here. Golden Guardians started right up. Nice stuff for them. Licorice escapes, gets the extra summoner spell blown, and they still get the objective for Golden Guardians. So as much work as the Evil Geniuses have done in this game to try and get themselves some hope in this series, Golden Guardians still push their lead ahead.
They'll definitely be cracking that lead further and further against EG once they drop that Rift Herald down. For EG's side, though, you're looking at some strength coming out of Inspired. 3 kills. Already working into some itemization for the later parts in the game, but they still need an opportunity to get into these fights and really pick off some members of Golden Guardians.
Yeah, he's going to have to do a lot of work here on the Ruined King. Honestly, bottom side should be easy for them to set up some deeper wards. I like that because they do have possibilities of a lot of possibilities of picking people off. Kind of a power move here from EG to get a little bit deeper. They set up another attempt.
So they wanted to grab River here. We're waiting in the bush to do so, but off of that is the vision that they have extended for the side of EG. Golden Guardians now trying to push past it to keep EG out of their own jungle.
And everybody is going to have everything available except for the Rumble Flash for this dragon fight. So should be able to actually fight this one. Malphite ultimate just came up now for Ssumday. He just hit level 11 on. So both top laners with rank 2 in their ultimates.
Jojo taking some attention from Licorice here.
Golden Guardians, though, with the recalls that we're seeing now from Evil Geniuses, Golden Guardians for sure going to have first setup. And honestly, EG probably think it's just too risky fighting into the darkness here. You're against the Maokai ultimate, into a Amumu ultimate and Rumble. There's just too much AoE there from Golden Guardians to ever try and face check them. A little bit too dangerous. And so Rift Herald towards mid doesn't even have to lose health on the first tower. So they will get a second tower charge off.
Golden Guardians, they managed to find Jojo when he was attempting to join the rest of EG. So as he retreats towards the turret, escaping the ultimate from River, EG were attempting to pursue the rest of Golden Guardians, who now rotate over towards the dragon side.
Again, the darkness is so dangerous for EG. That was another kind of freebie cooldown there. Jojo trying to rotate over. Again, no flash. Lissandra really benefits from having flash. Being that set-up champion that wants to lock people down for the Viego, for the Zeri there. So not only do Golden Guardians get mid-tower off the Rift Herald, plus the Dragon here, they also get the flash down on one of the playmakers from Evil Geniuses. And EG finally do trade at least the tower on top side, with FBI going over to get some of the gold there, not just let it go into the Malphite. They need to concentrate that money onto the Zeri, onto the Viego.
And extending some of that pressure just on the side lanes to break open some of this map here. 3 turrets to 2 on the scoreboard as Golden Guardians were able to get such an effective use of that Rift Herald to put that tier 2 in mid in a weak position. But Evil Geniuses, one thing they have going for them around that dragon as well, as we highlighted, it was 1-to-1 previously, so some delayed stacking for Golden Guardian side that they don't quite have to worry about just yet, and building up that gold onto FBI and that team fight potential.
Yeah, I think a lot of eyeballs are going to be on Inspired because it's kind of hard to play Viego into so much AoE here, and Maokai ultimate's used at the tower.
right from jungle, and Huhi, Stixxay, and Licorice throwing down the equalizer, gets a good burn onto Vulcan, also holding the E from Tristana, so backs on out of it, but the healthy members of EG make that face at Golden Guardians as well.
Yeah, looks like that's gonna be enough to back off here. They've got the split push Lissandra on bottom side, so Golden Guardians kind of want to reset for this minion wave. So just relent on pressure. But look at the wards here through the red quadrant of the jungle leading up towards Baron. Golden Guardians really get to press in and make it harder for EG to rotate to these plays.
So if you are EG right now and it's a bit difficult for you to rotate over towards these plays, you're on game point against Golden Guardians, who, while it's not as explosive as previous games, have been building up advantages in particular parts of the map. What are you thinking?
I want to kill the Rumble. I want to kill Frontline because Rumble usually is going to be pretty close. I mean, they'll take any pick that they can get. Obviously, if you get a pick, a freebie there, that is the ideal situation. But if you have to, try and kill Frontline Rumble for the first reset there for Viego for an inspired moment, because you have two forms here, Malphite Ultimate and Lissandra, to be able to have a two-tiered engage and really play off of those resets. And since Rumble has no stopwatch yet, and Rumble is building very offensively here, that is a valuable target that should probably be easier to kill than the Tristana, unless Stixxay kind of loses his mind and jumps in.
Sometimes when he's lost his mind, it's been in a very good way in some of these fights. So
yeah, trust himself definitely has gotten them here. Big part of it, the hero plays.
I think when we're talking about the confidence of these teams and their mentality into it, it also comes in that play style. Stixxay, when he made his debut, it was as this aggressive AD carry. And then even Huhi noting in an interview with Degon talking about how he had played passively in recent years and having a discussion with Stixxay to bring that aggression back out. That teammate that he had on previous years in the past that they got that championship with, bring that through here in Golden Guardians. And he has done so in such a heroic way in that matchup against 100 Thieves. And so far in this series, doing what he needs to do to get that damage against Evil Geniuses, the favored team coming into this matchup.
Exactly. And moving up here, they push out mid, allowing River to go pop the empowered Scryer's Bloom plants, one-shot some of these wards, clear out the Baron again, turn it dark for Evil Geniuses to make it so hard for them to actually set up. And every time it gets dark like this, you constantly have to worry, because Maokai Ultimate covers such a wide area, and if Huhi's right behind him, that is a lockdown that's going to be inevitable.
And as Golden Guardians push up those wards and get more saplings down as well, you can see Inspired kind of checking into the bushes and running into them time and time again. Meanwhile, Evil Geniuses want to extend some of their own vision. They've reached a little bit over into Riverside and extend into their jungle on the bot side, but that's why Inspired has to back up.
I think they're just so much for EG hopes right now, and extending the series and keeping their playoffs lives is on the shoulders of FBI. This Zeri here is approaching 3 items, approaching big carry potential. And so I think that's going to lead to a little bit more caution right now from EG. They're in an elimination game right now. Every game right now is match point for them. So I think they're going to be very cautious in setting up for it, and they'll probably just wait for a little bit more FBI farming here. You see him sitting really far back in the lane, waiting for the minion wave to come to him. Just continue to give over. You know, Dragon number 3 here is not going to be Dragon Soul, so it isn't the end of the world.
And meanwhile, Jojo pushing up on the side lanes as much as possible. Golden Guardians making their rotation towards that Dragon, and EG's response is to keep most of their members on this top side. Ssumday has his ultimate and is pushing out bot. Getting a...
Real threat here. But Golden Guardians, they call it. EG back off from the Baron. Not going to be enough time there. Stixxay annihilates Dragon. And so there's not a real big window, but kind of what we were talking about, where it's too risky right now to throw anything away for that.
Yeah, so Golden Guardians with 3 dragons on them. Soul point, but EG, because of that earlier grab, did extend kind of that window for them to prevent Soul. And now just a little bit of a reset opportunity. But the gold itself has fallen a bit back more to a neutral state. Evil Geniuses still awaiting that chance for FBI to get stronger and stronger as he continues to ensure that he doesn't push up and get picked off as he gets more and more farm.
Yeah, they're hoping for the dream Infinity Edge crits Zeri. Carry us to the promised land here. Lulu buffing them up. Lots of setup there with CC on all the other members. But Golden Guardians have looked so good this series. Waiting to see a nice Rumble combination with all the AoE that they do have. See if they can set it up. Since they just took Dragon, it's really easy now to rotate all of your vision resources over towards the top side of the map. There's nothing really on bottom side that has value for the next few minutes, so spend all of your wards over here, bait in evil geniuses, try and force them into something they don't want.
And Golden Guardians doing exactly that, throwing down the saplings and vision across this river. It's very similar to what we saw in the previous games, multiple controls on this Baron side, and as Ssumday steps up, Gori's going for the lock, Huhi in the vicinity, but you still have a spread right now as two members of Golden Guardians and Stixxay and River just want to ensure that that mid wave stays in a neutral state. Inspired lurking around the corner though. Seeing what EG can do to try and encroach upon this. Jojo still with his teleport at the ready, but could be matched by Licorice. Up, Jojo blasted. Licorice does so much damage. Teleport from Ssumday, so you get additional resources in that teleport, as well as the damage onto Jojo as Golden Guardians can focus on to the Baron. Licorice now teleports in, Inspired looking for an angle to get in there, but can't find it. Isolated, Gori takes him out, and on the Baron, Jojo wants to go for it, but the security of River gets the Baron buff for Golden Guardians. EG can't find a way in this. Ssumday can't find a way away as Golden Guardians are just pushing forward with their momentum in this game.
Yeah, Golden Guardians stomp this series. Holy moly. Licorice with the play of the series. He waits on his Rumble in the brush, overheats, burns Jojo down to 10%, then teleports up to the team that's already on Baron, and he immediately runs at Inspired. I didn't expect every member of Golden Guardians to leave the pit and leave River alone in the pit, but they all were just making sure they were going to track down Inspired, kill the enemy jungler, make sure there's not going to be a steal. Jojo tried to make a hero play on the Lissandra, being like, oh, you know, maybe I can just scare this Maokai or something. He teleported in and tried to steal the Baron, but River nails it. Golden Guardians, great stuff. Look at that. They're on the Baron already. They burn it down so quickly. Licorice forces Jojo back to base, then teleports up, and they all jump right on Inspired. We found you. Guess what? No steal for you. And then Jojo comes in for the hero play, but Stixxay's already back in the pit. Maokai has smite. They don't mess it up. Jojo down again, and Golden Guardians now, They've got Baron. They can easily take the rest of the turrets out here. Licorice very happy with himself, and deservedly so.
Very different reactions from both of those sides considering how everything played out. Licorice managing to put that pressure onto Jojo, get to the fight quickly, and now Golden Guardians with that Red Bull Baron buff can continue this pressure over in this bot pit.
Yeah, Guardians transformation. Massive stuff here for them in playoffs. That turret doesn't stand a chance. Baron empowered 4-1 split push. Gori's holding mid lane, buffing up those minions. Not a very good angle here for Evil Geniuses. You can see Jojo and Ssumday, you know, trying to look for maybe over the wall, but that ward right there sees Jojo the whole time. Golden Guardians will not be in any danger. They can just retreat back to the Soul. 20 seconds here. Chemtech Soul is not the greatest, but it is a Soul. Take that because EG are going to have a really hard time doing anything about it.
This was a spring split where it was so difficult to evaluate teams because of the swingy nature of these streaks. Golden Guardians having a 7 streak at one point, FlyQuest and 100 Thieves, and it's hard to pit what their great performances are against the bottom ones, as now Golden Guardians are putting together an amazing one as they take another dragon to secure that soul that, yes, it is still a soul and still something that they can work with here during the end of this Baron play, but these are the peaks that got people questioning, what can Golden Guardians do in best of series? Will they be able to push far in these playoffs? And they're doing so nicely right now as they keep EG on the outskirts of their base. River attempts to get a couple roots and does manage to do so to set up the equalizer, and look at how heavy heavy that Tristana hits also should be able to burn this turret and even burn the golden from Jojo as he has to E back into the fountain, and Gori keeping up the pressure on that mid turret so they can get multiple inhibitors at the threat right now. Finish off on the bot side. Inspired wants to make a connection onto somebody from Golden Guardians, but they know when to retreat.
I love this. Guardians deserve everything that they are getting here. They're using new champions. They're absolutely blasting EG in playoffs. What a year for this organization, for this team. That inhibitor didn't stand a chance. The Maokai ultimates into Rumble ultimate and explosive shot are just deleting backline members. Jojo has forced the Zonias. It is so sad to look at from the EG side, but honestly, heroics here for Golden Guardians so far in playoffs.
Because we know what evil geniuses are capable of, but it feels like Golden Guardians have outpaced them throughout the entirety of the series, showing so much flexibility in draft and the ability to carry off of that momentum from game to game to game. And even now with the switch of sides, with the switch of strategy, they're still keeping it through for what's looking like a potential Golden Guardians victory, not just on the game, but the series.
Yeah, big thing for Golden Guardians in these series is they have not, when they have a big lead, they have not done anything risky to even give an opening for EG. And with Seoul, with a 5,500 gold lead here, they're just shoving up mid. EG are trying to make a pick play on top side, but they even know.
Oh, and Gori trying to stop the backs here alongside River. They target FBI, goes into ultimate, but it's answered by lockdown. A teleport in from Evil Geniuses keeps River and Gori separated into the jungle. Huhi, Stixxay, and Licorice ready to zone off the remaining members of EG, making their way through that top side. Jojo ready to join from mid.
And the mid tower is already killed now.
Stixxay over the wall again, lands an E, can't charge it up because Jojo goes towards the base to heal, but that's the second inhibitor taken down by Golden Guardians. The pressure is good from the GG side.
Yep, the map is theirs. Two now lines of super minions heading into the Evil Geniuses base, trying to keep them pinned in. Golden Guardians get to take anything they want off the map. And guess what? 28 seconds left on the Baron to respawn here, so they will go back and spend all of this money that they just got before returning after their reset. And then EG are faced with the Hail Mary. Backs against the walls for Evil Geniuses. Spring playoffs lives on the line. They have to pull out a miracle here versus the Golden Guardians.
Golden Guardians ready with wards to try and take over River again with Vision. The teleport in and Huhi going for the play. Multiple stuns and the equalizer across Evil Geniuses. Inspired goes Golden, but so does Huhi, and Vulcan separated by Gori. Jojo, that's gonna be a blast. Almost hits on his head, but the Frozen Tune keeps him into it. River wants to finish him off. That's an ace. Evil Geniuses are dead. Golden Guardians changing the tide of what everyone believes that they can do.
Oh my, nothing left but the Nexus turrets.
Just one more Nexus for Golden Guardians to take to make a statement, not just on this day, but of this season. GG's resolve holds strong, punching their tickets to North Carolina, playing finals weekend for the first time.
When did you make that sign? When did you make that sign? What a genius in the audience called it 3-0. Golden Guardians. They are going to face FlyQuest here. They've got a date in Raleigh. Coming off a 3-0 over the Evil Geniuses. Momentum building for this team. What a year for the Golden Guardians.
Hopping onto a plane for the first time in Golden Guardians history.